Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, please, you're too kind. Thank you so much. Please. Now, some of you were talking about being, in your 30s. Well, I'm 61, and I have absolutely no sympathy for you at all. I'm sorry, man. I'll tell you something. When you get to be, my age, you start going to the doctor more often than you used to. And let me tell you something. Doctors don't know nothing about the human body. I learned this the hard way. I learned this the day I was born. Now, I don't know exactly what day it was because, it was a long time ago. I was kind of young at the time. But the first thing that this doctor did when I was born was slap me on my ass. I looked at him like, you got a problem? What's wrong with you? You don't do this. And then the next thing they do, he puts me in this room with about 10 or 12 other kids that I ain't never seen before in my life. And I'm getting bored, I'm getting hungry, and I looked over to the guy next to me and I says to him, hey, when are they going to feed us around here? And he's sitting there drooling on himself, taking a dump in his diapers, and I'm thinking, this guy's got no class at all. But it's always been that way with doctors and me. The gentleman that preceded me with wearing the cowboy hat, Triumph. He mentioned that, about going to a shrink. Don't go to a shrink because you're a man, you can handle it. Well, something? I tried going to a shrink, and one day I went to the shrink's office, and I says, look, Doc, I've been coming here once a week for the last 3 years. I don't feel any better. I don't feel any worse. Level with me. What's wrong with me? He says, all right, I'll tell you the truth. You're crazy. And I said, what? Oh, come on. I want a second opinion. He says, you're ugly. And I don't know, man, I'm telling you, man, not long ago I went to a proctologist. He stuck his finger in my mouth, so maybe he has a point. But I'll tell you something, man, the world is really going crazy, and it's not, sometimes it's just me. Do you ever get the feeling that that things are slipping out of control? You ever get that feeling? Well, I used to, but now I got special underwear for that. But I'm telling you, the world is going crazy. I mean, look at the world situation, and it's always been this way. Throughout human history, it's been a complete madhouse from the day Cain slew Abel until right now. It's always been a madhouse. And I don't know whether things are getting worse or whether they're getting more obvious. But I'll tell you something. The lunatics are definitely running the asylum. Mm-hmm. Man, I remember one time I was on social media. I saw this video of this guy. Did a selfie video where he's talking about it. He says, howdy, hi there, folks. My name is Arlo McCready. I'm the singer and the rhythm guitar player of Arlo McCready and the MAGA Hat Nation. And I'm telling you, we play both kinds of music, country and Western. And I'll tell you something. We are very patriotic Americans. We follow our leader, our true president, Donald John Trump, who is also the second coming of Jesus Christ, the Word made flesh. And I'll tell you something. I'm so patriotic, I piss red, white, and blue. My doctor told me it was pancreatic cancer, but I told him to shut his commie liberal mouth. But something? This gentleman, what was your name again? Eitan. Yeah. Eitan. All right. You mentioned about being Jewish. Yeah. I'm a Muslim. Oh boy, you didn't see that coming, did you? No. I know I look exactly like every stereotypical Muslim. And in fact, I'm not going to shout out Allahu Akbar because, you never know what's going to happen after that. But don't worry, everything is cool. Everything is cool. But, I try to spend time with people, understand people from their perspective. One of the things that I did was that I put a surveillance device, an audio recorder in the confessional of a Catholic church. Because, I want to learn how people think. I'm not too old to learn new things. And some of the stuff that I heard there was, oh man, I'm not even going to tell you it, but there was one that really stuck in my head. This old Jewish man Yeah, I know you're staring at me like, oh, what's coming next? But anyway, this old Jewish man goes into the confessional, and the priest says, "May I help you, my son?" And this old Jewish guy, he's Borscht Belt accent. He says, "Well, the other day I was visiting my grandchildren, and the babysitter put the grandchildren to bed for a nap, and then we went into the bedroom and we did the woofty-poofty. We did a woofty-poofty once, we did it again, and then again, and then again, and then again. I did the mattress mambo with her. And she's 19 years old, I'm 82 years old, and we did the woofty-poofty 5 times in a row." And the priest says, "Wait a second, wait, excuse me. Can I ask you something, sir? Are you Jewish?" And the man says, "Yes, sir, I'm Jewish." And he says, "Well, why are you here telling me this?" He says, "Are you kidding? I'm telling everybody." And, one time I invited a Catholic priest and a rabbi to coffee, so that we could sit down and, talk to each other. This is how you build bridges. This is how you solve problems. This is how you bring peace to the world. And so the rabbi is and the priest are talking to each other. I'm just listening, and the priest says to the rabbi, he says, "Rabbi, I know your religion says that you're supposed to refrain from eating pork. You're forbidden from eating pork. And I'm curious, have you ever tried it?" And the rabbi says, "Well, one day I was curious. I tried a little piece of it. It smelled horrible, tasted worse. It made me sick, and I felt really bad about it, and I vowed I would never do it again. But while we're on the subject, Father, your religion says that you're supposed to be celibate and never get married." And then the priest says, "Look, I know where you're going with this, and I got to confess that I have succumbed to the temptation a few times." And the rabbi says, "It's better than pork, isn't it?" Yeah. And then I asked the rabbi, because he was from Israel, and I says to him, "You live in Jerusalem, don't you?" He says, "Yes, I live in Jerusalem." And he was an older gentleman, so I knew he'd been around, seen a lot of changes. I wanted to know what he had to say, and I says to him, "What do you do in Jerusalem?" He says, "Well, every day I wake up and I go to the Wailing Wall, at the Wailing Wall, and I pray. I pray for peace in the world. I pray for an end to hostilities between Jews and Arabs, and I pray for a world where our children can live in peace, prosperity, safety, and harmony." And I said, "Wow, that's beautiful. Well, let me ask you, how does it feel praying for world peace every day for 60 years? He says, "It feels like I'm talking to a wall." All right, I think that's about it. Thank you so much. You've been a great bunch of guys. Where's the lady that was here? Oh, she just took one look at me and ran out the door. I don't blame her. But anyway, yeah. Oh, you want the microphone? All right.
Give it up for Dawoud.